2 miles, take exit 43B for I-75 North toward Dayton.
إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Good afternoon. I'll make this quick video and some on my mind that everybody needs to know. I'm gonna jump straight in because I ain't got too much time. We on our way to go get one of our brothers ready for his funeral, to be buried. He lost his life in the streets. So this is real live stuff that I'm on here that I talk about, and I talk about it because it affects my life, my everyday life. What's up, Brandon Young? Assalamu alaikum, Abdullah. It affects my everyday life and affects a lot of our everyday lives. And folks that come from where I come from, we really don't have any true representation. So, you know, I've given my brain to it. Come on now, get out the road. I've given my brain to it, alhamdulillah. And whatever information that I gather and share and learn, I'm going to share with the people, because there's not many people. You got the conscious individuals scattered about, just throwing out information, information which I ain't going to say it's useless, but it's not practical. Everybody's just like throwing the information out there. I'm trying to connect the dots, and I'm trying to spark a movement to where we will have actual real change, a mass, actual real change. We've been being promised change by all these politicians, every one of them, from Obama to Clinton to Biden, every one of them, they promised us change, and we haven't seen any change. And I've become obsessed with the numbers and the reasons why. So I'm speaking on everything I'm speaking on because I'm stepping up to the plate, and I'm gonna actually take my swing at doing something about all of this stuff that we complain about. So this video, I want everybody to understand something critical. If you care about the struggle, if you care about the betterment of your people as a whole, as our people as a whole, first and foremost, I have to say this because, there's been some distractions thrown out there. I'm not racist, no way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm a Sunni Muslim all the way through and throughout. It's impossible for me to be racist. But one thing that I cannot control is other people. I can't control racist people, and racist people run this country. Some white people who I'm friends with on Facebook, they're not racist. Not that I know of. So I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about white people and whoever else that are racist towards black people. And one thing, that's the biggest problem that we have.
Take exit 43B for I-75 North toward Dayton.
Is that
take exit 43B.
Is that we believe that everything is okay because we've witnessed a few black folks.
Continue on I-75 North for 31 miles.
We've witnessed a few black folks progress and wiggle out of the struggle to some degree. There's even numbers to that. I think only 21% of black people live in the upper echelon of society, which is embarrassing, up to other numbers with other communities. And even if with that being the case, we see the Jay-Z's, or we see everybody knows a doctor, everybody knows a black lawyer, a black doctor, or somebody black who kind of quote unquote made it, even though the statistics show that black doctors on average make less than white doctors. Black lawyers make less than white lawyers. All the way around the board, black people are suffering. Even for you people at the top, you've even been discriminated against. When you could have been making a $500,000, you're making $300,000. There's even discrimination at that level, which hurts the community as a whole, which is what this video is about. So all in all, through and through, everybody has got so excited about integration, and we think we made it because we're no longer being lynched and hung from trees. we think, black folks think that we have made it just because we're no longer being lynched and hung from trees. Well, they don't need to lynch us and hang us from trees anymore because we are voluntarily in servitude. And this is how. So black people own and control relatively nothing in this community. So that means we've made no progress. The actual mathematics to that, the actual statistics to what I just said, is that black people as a whole own and control less than 2% of this nation's wealth. So if you think Joe Biden is listening to you, he's not, because you're not paying him. If we're waiting around for somebody to care about what we going through when they actually make money off of what we going through. And this is what we gotta be real and understand. So we didn't have, I think it's even now. I think since civil rights was enacted in '64, I think we've had 6 Democratic presidents and 6 Republican presidents. I think it's either one or the way around. It's either 6 or 5 or 5 or 6, going either way. But no matter what the case may be, since 1964, black people have not made, we've made a snail's effort of progression. Things are not, we're not moving forward like how we think we are. The more we progress, the more our so-called quote-unquote counterparts have progressed, which left us in the same spot. So when you say a black person that's making $100,000, there's a white guy that's making $1 million. That is the wealth gap. The wealth gap is 10 times the difference. So we're not making progress. We haven't even the playing field. And as long as our quote-unquote counterpart is making $1 million to our 100,000 and 100,000 to our 10,000, we will never catch up. This is why. So Biden and all of the crooked politicians, they get paid by communities to advocate for the race to resources in this country. Black people have embarrassingly failed at doing that. So we have the biggest voter turnout. We have the largest percentage of a population that votes one way. Nobody else in the whole entire country votes one way other than the black community. The black community has been voting 90% Democratic since Clinton, I believe. 90%. And we haven't received anything in return for that vote. The wealth gap is still embarrassingly crazy. It's still 10 and 15 times. The statistics say that the average white family net worth is $171,000, somewhere in that area. And the average black family's net wealth is $17,000. We're not making any progress. And the only way for us to close that quote-unquote wealth gap is to, number one, invest into our own selves first and foremost, which is I'm a huge advocate for. And number two, reparations. The government has to right its wrong that it did to black people. And this is why you cannot logically, the black vote has been made too cheap. It's been made way too cheap. We give everybody our support, and they haven't given us any support. So, for example, black banks, the latest statistics on black banks show that last year they had a total of $5 billion, a little bit over $5 billion in assets total for the entire year, for all 4 fiscal quarters. Last year, or the last statistics, I don't know if it was 2019, 2020, whatever. The last reported statistics, the biggest white bank, I forget which one it was. I don't know if it was Bear Stearns or Wells Fargo, one of those big ones. I think it was Wells Fargo. They cleared $6 billion in the first quarter, and their earnings were reported to be 20% down. 20% down. So overall, in one entire year, black banks have only $5 billion in assets, and in a whole entire year, I think it was Wells Fargo. Please don't quote me on that. Y'all can look it up if y'all want to. Either way it goes, a white bank. They reported like $6.5 trillion for the entire year, all 4 fiscal quarters. How in the world do we keep getting tricked by Obama, Obiden, Clinton, and all these other people saying, oh, we're bringing jobs to the black community? That's not closing the wealth gap. That's not helping us. The more us work, and then on top of that, the jobs that they are bringing, so quote unquote bringing, I haven't seen any of them. The jobs that they're bringing in the so-called black community are still owned by white people. So we're still making white people richer. That's slavery. That's slavery. They don't have to lynch you no more. They don't have to hang you from a tree anymore. They put McDonald's in your neighborhood, and they say that you can work in a McDonald's for $12 and $13 an hour while they own the McDonald's. That's not encouraging equality or equity. It's not encouraging that. No way, shape, form, or fashion. It's actually a ploy to make richer, white, quote unquote, white people richer. All the way around the board. That's just the facts. Those are just numbers. It might hurt your feelings a little bit that, you know, we've been told to believe in Obiden and believe in Obama and all of them. And it might hurt your feelings that, you know, they haven't actually done anything, but go and look at the numbers. Let's forget about being emotional about this. Let's forget about Obiden and Obama being best friends and Obama being the first black president. That's symbolic. It's symbolic. It's merely symbolic. Obama didn't do anything specifically for the black community, and he should have. When he was asked about it, he dodged the question. When Obiden was asked about it, he dodged the question. When Kamala Harris was asked about it, she dodged the question. So, first and foremost, we're owed reparations. That's first and foremost. We have to know that. You have to believe that. You have to know that. Second, no politician, I don't care who it was, y'all can put Jesus Christ as the president. If Jesus Christ, alayhi salam, if he does not agree to sign an act for reparations for black people, the wealth gap will never close. It will never close. Slavery gave white people an estimated $50 trillion head start on black people. How in the world is giving me a job making close to minimum wage gonna help me? It's not. Cut me a check, player. Cut me a check. And yes, we are owed that. Just because slavery happened and it happened so long ago, and now all of a sudden we all want some free money. We don't want nothing free. That wasn't free. We worked for that money. We shed blood in those fields for that money. We built this country. We built this country. We didn't help build it. We built the country. The white man didn't build this country. They made us build it. And a lot of this stuff was our ideas. They just extorted us out of the efforts and out of the money, and they robbed us. They robbed us. Point blank and period. So they owe us reparations. They stole money from us. They stole our labor from us. They profited 100% of the labor. Not saying that we are owed reparations right now. Is basically, if you don't believe black people are owed reparations, then you should go to work to your 9 to 5 every single day and don't expect a paycheck. If you don't believe black people are owed reparations, that's what you basically are saying. So how can Obiden help us? How can Kamala Harris help us when they have both publicly came out and denied giving black people reparations? You are not going to close the wealth gap by putting white-owned businesses in black communities. That is not how math works. And why do we need to close the wealth gap? Because this is what promotes, this is what funnels, this is what channels all of the problems in the black community. The number one problem in the black community, poverty. Number 2 problem, education. And education as a result of poverty. Number 3 problem, crime. All of these things are a result of the black-white wealth gap. Number one, we don't inherit anything. We black people don't inherit anything. White people, they inherit a lot. When a 21-year-old white kid goes to college up against a 21-year-old black kid, this black kid has to work and go to school at the same time and study, which will lead to them probably dropping out. And it's probably the reason why only 24% of black people have a bachelor's degree. When you have a white kid who is 21 and they already have a car that's paid for, all of their expenses is paid for, they don't have to work or any of that and go to college, they can focus 100% on studying. Number two, there is no black economy. There is no black economy. The actual statistical number is this. 98% of the dollars that black people own go to white businesses. They do not go to black businesses. Only 2% of our wealth, a little bit less than 2% of our wealth, goes to what we call the black economy, which is non-existent. So how are we getting ahead? How are we getting ahead? Everything is white owned, and it's white owned because they robbed people for it. They stole everything and then made everybody, it's extortion. You do all the work and you pay me. That's what it is. They can't do chattel slavery right now. There was only a few hundreds of thousands of slaves spread out throughout the South. It turned into millions, but they still had our backs broke with chattel slavery. You know, they made hard examples out of us. They kept us poor. You know, we didn't own anything. They had all the weapons. You know, so they had the fear of death instilled in us deeply. Now there are 40 million black people. They cannot put us in chains. If they could, I believe they would. But they cannot put us in chains. There are 40 million black people in this country. They can't do it. It's impossible. So they play games and they trick our brains and make us voluntarily. They believe us because we've had social integration and no economic integration. We are so happy to live, you know, freely amongst quote unquote white people, but we're not happy about us not making, we're happy about us not making the same kind of money that they make. What makes you think you're free? White people own everything, and you work and you pay white people for everything that they own. We are basically paying to wake up and go to sleep. That's it. We own nothing. We own nothing. The average white family has enough money put to the side for them to not work in a case of a crisis and pay all of their bills for an entire year. The average black family doesn't even have enough money for 2 months worth of their bills. That's a problem. And these are the things we hold our vote off to the Democratic Party. Y'all need to be telling them to fix this stuff. Y'all are beating me across the head and holding guns to my head and forcing me and other people, trying to force me and other people to vote Democratic. And like I told y'all from the beginning, vote for who, number one, and vote for what, number two. Number one, vote for who means we don't have a person talking like how I'm talking in the White House. We don't have one. You gave more support to Obiden than you give to me doing this video, talking about the things that actually matter. Biden is talking about giving you white-owned jobs in your community for you to make $15, $16, $17, $18 an hour. I'm talking about giving you a business and a job, and possibly if black people can come together on this matter of reparations, we can get it. I'm talking about everybody will get a $250,000 to $300,000 stimulus check. Scholars are still debating on how reparations would actually look. They want to be fair about it all the way around the board. But I'm talking about, I can't get any support from anybody. Obiden is telling you that he's going to put a white-owned business in your community and that he's going to make sure that you have an equal opportunity to fill out that application and make $15, $16 an hour and put a little bit more chitlins on your plate than you already got. That's what Obiden is promising you. Obama already did it. He already told you. He said, okay, the Bush administration only gave you an ounce of chitlins. I'm going to give you a pound of chitlins to eat. That's all they doing. What I'm talking about is actually freeing black people. I'm actually talking about that. You ain't seen Biden. Why on earth would you support a politician who doesn't support you and giving you reparations for what has happened? Your life is hard. This is for the people who say, "Oh, start worrying about the past, man. That don't mean nothing." Well, in the past, they ran up a $50 trillion debt with black people. That's not counting the money that they made. That's counting the money that we made. What we made, what was produced and they sold and profit off of. That wasn't talking about their profit. That's talking about if black folks own all of the cotton and the sugar and all of the stuff they forced us to be slaves about. If black people own that stuff and sold it on the international market, what we would have made, that's our money. And most of it is ignorance. Most of the people who challenge truly black conscious individuals are just ignorant. They don't even know what the word reparations is, let alone to be able to advocate for it or to support somebody who is not an advocate for it. So that's why I'm making these kinds of videos, to enlighten people and to educate people about these things. Do I think they're going to give us reparations? I don't think so, because they know what they're doing. They know what they are doing. All of this discrimination that we experience on a daily basis is legal.
There's a speed trap ahead.
The discrimination is legal. Slavery was legal. Jim Crow was legal. Redlining was legal. The GI Bill and the slave codes and all that stuff was legal. These are things that were done to that the government did to oppress us from progressing in every single generation that black people lived in. The subprime mortgage scheme that decimated the black community again, which just happened, that was legal. It was legal. Your government, your Democrats and your Republicans. Period. So it's mathematically, it's scientifically impossible for any politician that's in office right now to help the black community unless they start the conversation with reparations. Unless they started with reparations. If they don't start it with reparations, they're not doing anything for you. Period. Every black person that I know, I don't know no rich black folks. I don't know them. I've heard of them, and I know people that know them. But I'm the average black person. I even have a business, and it's hard for me. There's discrimination in black people owning businesses. That's another video for another day. There's discrimination in the housing market with black people. There's discrimination all the way around the board just because of slavery. Just because of that. Which is another video that I'm preparing, inshallah, and I'll be able to break that all the way down. But all the black people that I know, from old to young, are struggling. I'm willing to bet that all the black people that I know, and probably all the black people that are on my page, I don't know if I got any rich rappers or football players on my page. And for the most part, I got normal black people on my page. I guarantee you, none of you have enough money to survive without working on your job for the next 6 months. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. I'm willing to bet that. And the stuff that I'm talking about is the study that I took up to figure out why is that. They're telling me everything is okay. They're telling me that we're equal. They're telling me that we're integrated. They're telling me that I have the same opportunities out here as everybody else. They're telling me that. This is what they're telling us. But the numbers reflect something different. And the reality reflects something different. All the people that I know, 100% of the black people that I know are living paycheck to paycheck. And if they have a business, they're living invoice to invoice. I have a business and I'm living invoice to invoice. Alhamdulillah, I'm making a decent living. And I haven't hit that comfort part yet. And I'm making unbelievable sacrifices just to hold on to the money that I've been able to make with my own efforts in a business. With my own efforts. And I have run into discrimination. It's a quick story. I keep telling y'all I got a route out in Indian Hills and, the far eastern part of Cincinnati, which is the richest part of Cincinnati. There's not this black face is not on that contract. There's a white face on that contract. There's a white face on that contract. I have the screenshot to where the number one recommended mowing company on Google is this white company that I sub for. I do all the cutting of the grass, all those stripes that y'all see and those big, nice landscaping jobs out. And I tag it sometimes in Indian Hills and Blue Ash and Madeira and all of that. That company had last year in 2019, they had the number one rated recommendation for mowing on the far east side of town, which was the richest part of town. They didn't call Abdul Kabir Muhammad for that contract. They didn't call the Yard Barber LLC for that contract. They called that dude, which is my friend. It's my friend. I'm not going to say his name and put his business or nothing out there, because politics get real greasy. They called him a white guy, a locally known white guy. And, a friend of mine, a white friend of mine was like, hey, I think you should, get with him. And he contacted me and was like, hey, let's do some business. And I was like, cool. So a black company has the number one rated mowing services in the richest area of Cincinnati. My company, as of 2019. And we ain't seen our results for 2020 yet. If y'all don't believe me, I got the picture. I'll put it up for you if y'all don't believe me. I might have to
take exit 47 toward Moraine, Kettering.
I might have to block out the company name, for my contract purposes. But that's discrimination. I asked myself why. Like, how come they didn't contact the Yard Barber LLC? How come they didn't contact Abdul Kabir Muhammad? Now I'm talking about these are on average I make $30 to $40 per cut working in the black community, because that's really only the people who hire me on my own clients. But through that subcontract, I'm doing, $100, $150, $200 cuts. And I'm not getting all of that money. I got to pay out a percentage for that contract in order for me to get it. I'm getting 80% of the money, I believe. I'm getting 80% of the money. But, why am I not getting 100% of the money? Why they didn't call me? There's a reason for that. So even in owning the business, there's some discrimination. I'm not saying it's like they were like, the Yard Barber LLC is owned by a black guy, we're not calling him. I'm not saying it's that. It's a subtle, implicit discrimination that's being experienced. But yeah, I accomplished that last year. My greatest.
Take exit 47 toward Moraine, Kettering.
That's my greatest accomplishment this far. Like I literally had the number one mowing recommended services in the richest area of Cincinnati. So that shows that you work hard, take care of business, do business well. You can become as a black person. You. Brother, call me. We can accomplish. I don't know if it's a hang up. I'll call it right back because I'm getting ready anyway. But
East Dixie Drive.
The fact of the matter is, unless I just gave y'all, if y'all just tuned in, this ain't a long video. Go back to the beginning of it and check it out. You must know these kinds of things. Unless Biden and Harris
to turn right onto East Dixie Drive, then use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Dryden Road.
And unless Obiden and Harris commit to some form of reparations, they will never help the black community. All they're going to do is put white-owned jobs in the black community and pay you peanuts on the dollar for you to run these white-owned businesses and make them richer and make you poorer.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Dryden Road.
Sorry, almost missed my turn. That's the best that has ever been done for the Democratic Party. Now this all has taken place under the last 60 years since we've been free, up under both Republicans and Democratic rule, under both of them, and we support them, and they don't support us. So stop asking. It's a poor ignorant person's.
Turn left onto Main Street.
It's a poor, ignorant person's argument to ask Obiden for jobs. Don't ask him for jobs. Ask him for some money. Ask him for money. Ask him for money. Tell them to deposit. Tell Obiden to. This is just one of my great ideas, and I'm gonna give it to y'all for free because the knowledge belongs to the people. Knowledge belongs to Allah Ta'ala, and it's for the people. It's not for me. I can't. What do you call it? I can't copyright truth. And the truth is truth, and it'll even help me. Tell Obiden to write a check, a big check, $1 billion, trillion-dollar check into black banks, and let the black banks flow that money into the black community. White banks are not flowing their money into the black community. White banks, which the majority of us deposit our money into white banks, and the white banks invest into the white communities. They don't invest into the black communities. So if asking Obiden for jobs, mathematically and scientifically, it does not work. If y'all need to know the entire full breakdown, number for number, I can't do that because y'all turn this off because, you know, we still coming out of the haze of Jeezy and Gucci. Y'all brains ain't built for that. So I'm just going to tell you, the math don't add up. And you should be able to connect the doggone dots your own self. That it doesn't work. That math doesn't add up. Like I told you, black make $5 billion. All together, they have $5 billion for in assets, and white banks have like $6 trillion in assets. So giving us jobs ain't gonna do. Your white friends might not be racist. The white people you grew up with might not be racist. But the structure of this country is racist. Simple example. When you're filling out an application, why do they ask you your nationality? Why? Why does it matter? I'm an American. Only question should be on there is, are you an American citizen? Yes, I'm an American citizen. Why has to know if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm Hispanic or other? Why are they asking you that? It's almost as if they are looking at your application as, okay, this is a black man or a black woman that's filling out this application. The going rate for black or white labor is the lowest, so I can pay you $10, $11, $12, $13. The wage discrimination is documented. This is not a theory. It's documented. You need to know where and how and who. Inbox me. I'll forward you the information. But all that studying and reading, I know y'all not into that. So I don't even do that type of stuff. That's why I turned my studying and my research into a video, make it succinct and drop it on you like that so that you can know something ain't right. If any of y'all need to know, inbox me. I'll forward you the information. I spend hours on the day researching this stuff and learning about it, breaking down the numbers and seeing if, are we genetically screwed or is somebody genetically screwing us? It's only one of two things. It can only be one of those two things. So the structure here is racist. It is racist. You might not be racist. I'm not racist, but because I don't have a choice to have black skin, I have to, if I'm a sincere individual, I have to take into account the fact that there's a war waged on my skin color. I didn't decide that. Some other people decide that. I didn't do that to myself. I didn't do it. The reason why things are messed up for black people is because this country has a racist structure.
Turn left onto Frighten Road.
And I'm pretty sure that y'all don't disagree with that because all y'all scared that Donald Trump is a racist and everybody who supports Donald Trump is a racist. So y'all know I'm not lying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what black people are saying now. I'm not saying that. I believe there's some truth to that, but there's a racist structure set up here that it doesn't really matter if you're racist or if you're white friend is racist or not, we all are still subservient to a racially structured system. The government is racially structured,
1 mile.
so we don't have a choice in those matters. Our job from this point on is to change that and to be real about it. Stop getting pimped out by Obiden and Obama and all these folks. Stop letting them pimp us out for our support, and they ain't supporting us. If your quality of life has not changed since Clinton, you shouldn't be a Democrat. Period. Because I'm old and I'm 36. I'm old enough to know that when Bush was in power, they did the same. The Democrats did the same, used the same scare tactics to steal our vote for free that they did with Trump. They just did. They did the same exact thing. Oh, Bush this, Bush that, Bush this, Bush that. Bush gonna do this to black people. Bush gonna do that to black people. Bush wouldn't think about black people. He got put in there just like every other president. He got put in there to represent certain large conglomerates, to pass laws that would unfairly support these large conglomerates, and everybody else just gonna have to get it out the mud. White people too. If the white people weren't involved in those large conglomerates, they didn't get nothing either. Even though they already cool or whatever, they just didn't get anything extra. When Obama got in there, he supported. Look at his connection to Goldman Sachs. They were his biggest contract contributor. They gave him like $40 million. Those are white people. Yeah, they're actually Jewish white people. And when you see one of his number one agendas will be have to support Israel, we have to protect Israel. Man, why you ain't protecting Avondale? Why you ain't protecting Wind Terrace, Westwood? Why you not protecting them? We got folks dying in the middle of the street, rocks hitting us up, cops hitting us upside the head, just like you see over there in Israel and Palestine. So why he didn't do that to us? Because black people ain't gave him no money. Our vote is cheap. You work for who pays you. We have not paid any of these politicians yet, so they ain't got nothing for us. Y'all ain't gave Obiden nothing. Nothing.
Next right onto Ohio 4.
So he ain't gonna give you nothing. That's how it works. That's how it works. I haven't seen my quality of life is the same thing. I went and did 10 years. I left all this hard work out here to y'all. I went and did my bit and came home to the projects, came home to poverty. All my peoples were still poor. All my peoples who was in the streets, they were still poor. Guys that were still selling a quarter brick, they were selling a quarter brick 10 years after I came home. Even dope boys' lives, quality lives didn't go up. That's a sad shame. So if your quality of life has not changed, your folks' quality of life has not changed, your folks ain't making more money, a significant amount of more money. Your folks don't own no don't own no property, don't own no businesses, don't have any assets.
Destination is on the right.
Shoot, I passed it up. Your folks don't own none of this stuff. Your quality of life is the same exact it is since you've been politically aware, like with since Clinton, since Obama, and all the Democrats and everything. That means that you're getting pimped out. Hands down. You're getting pimped. You're giving them all of the support, and they ain't giving you no support. I'm here, we getting ready to go get the brother ready for burial. The brother, I'm passionate about this stuff, man. I'm at the funeral home right now. And this is a Muslim. A black Muslim went and did a decade in prison, came home to straighten circumstances, did nothing, and nobody have nothing for him. Obiden been in there for 50 years and they did nothing for our people. So when he came home, he felt like a lot of other people, he had to get it out the mud. And he went and got it out the mud. Since he went and got it out the mud, he died in the mud. This is why. I gotta get ready to put my brother in the ground. That's why I'm passionate about this stuff. This is my life for real. And everybody who keep putting a gun in my head telling me to support Obiden and Obama and whoever else, and they ain't did nothing to me. Hey, sound like my fault. I kept clicking you off. I was doing this video. I was close though. That's why I was clicking you off. Yeah, this is affecting my people for sure, all the way around the board. So this is real life. And we really affected, and we really got to start getting some bang for our buck. I gotta go. I'm getting ready to take care of the business. Where my mask at? I love y'all for the sake of Allah. I'm gonna hang up. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to respond to everybody's comments. I'm gonna respond to them when I hang up, inshallah. Love y'all for the sake of Allah. So أقول لك قول هذا وأستغفر الله ولا إله إلا الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.